I know. Why am I making a video about Spotify? Well, because it sounds just fine coming out of my Bang & Olufsen speakers integrated in my laptop. The question I want to answer today is whether we can affordably improve the sound of Spotify and what it will take to do it. Let's get to it. My journey into music streaming began with Spotify back in the late 2000s, which captivated me with its intelligent user interface, extensive music library, and sheer convenience. Today, even though I primarily use Qobuz for my listening pleasure, I find myself holding on to my Spotify subscription. Why, you may ask? Well, Spotify's knack for music discovery is second to none. Its AI-driven recommendations, in my experience, have been on the money. So while it's not my primary player anymore, I consider it an indispensable tool for discovering new music. However, when it comes to audio quality, Spotify does leave something to be desired. If you're streaming on Bluetooth speakers or using laptop speakers, guilty as charged, the sound quality of Spotify's maximum 320 kilobytes per second probably doesn't bother you. Let's rewind to around 2005, and 320 kilobytes per second was the holy grail of MP3 formats that many were, shall we say, acquiring without necessarily paying for them. Not that I'm implying any personal involvement in such activities, mind you. But back then, most of the MP3s in circulation ranged between 128 to 256 kilobytes per second, and let's just say they didn't make for a great listening experience. Yet, what truly irks me is our collective memory lapse about the superior sound quality of CDs. We traded in this audio richness for the allure of convenience almost without a second thought. Consider this. A standard audio CD offers a bitrate of a whopping 1,411 kilobytes per second, vastly outclassing MP3 and AAC formats, which max out at 320 kilobytes per second. So the question begs, can we somehow elevate Spotify's sound to match this? Unfortunately, the answer is no. Even if you run Spotify through a high-end DAC, you're still limited by the source quality. So you can imagine my excitement when Spotify announced their plans to introduce CD quality streaming. Alas, it's been like 2 years since this announcement, and I've let my hopes fall. Perhaps someday, just not today. Ultimately, the performance of your audio system, whether modest or extravagant, will always be bound by the quality of your source material. Spending the big bucks on an external DAC, while certainly offering an upgrade over, Bluetooth streaming or your device's native DAC, might not deliver the sound enhancements you envisioned if you're using Spotify exclusively. Now, if you're considering a switch to a lossless service like Qobuz, or even fancy joining me on my CD revival crusade, then investing in a quality DAC is absolutely worthwhile. But remember, even a top-tier source in DAC can only do so much if you're plugging into budget speakers and amplifiers. At the end of the day, your sound system is only as good as its weakest link, and I keep saying that, but don't get me wrong, there are plenty of budget-friendly options that deliver surprisingly good sound. You can assemble a decent setup for under $500, but if you're truly passionate about music and value a sublime listening experience, it might be just worth taking your time and setting aside a budget that can accommodate higher quality equipment. For those looking to make the most out of a tight budget and still get impressive sound quality, there is good news. With a bit of creativity, you can transform existing devices into quite a decent setup. The used market and affordable new options present a really nice source of possibilities. And who knows, you might already own components that are just waiting to be a part of your new sound system. Take, for instance, your media or gaming console. If you own an NVIDIA Shield, an Xbox, a PlayStation, disc versions, mind you, you can leverage these devices as streamers or even CD players. And let's not forget about Blu-ray players, which can provide you with a great experience as a CD player or streamer depending on the make and model. These days, many components allow you to add apps on their user interface and allow you to play from many different sources. While these multi-purpose devices might not deliver the same audio performance as dedicated streamers or dedicated CD players, they can do a commendable job, especially if you're working within constraints. Now, how about amplification? An affordable Denon receiver, which I managed to scoop up for around $400, can work wonders. Connect your console or Blu-ray player to the receiver, also known as an AVR, and make use of its built-in DAC. Pair this setup with a couple of speakers and voila, you've got yourself a sound system. It's pretty amazing what you can do with the tech you already own. Sure, it's always fun to bring home new gear. Who wouldn't like that? But why unnecessarily spend when you may already have the perfect solution at your fingertips? That's the beauty of the audio hobby. It's deeply personal. Sound is subjective, and if it sounds good to your ears, that's a victory. Yes, there's always the allure of upgrading, but remember, quality audio doesn't necessarily need to come with a hefty price tag, especially in these challenging times when many of us, my household included, are feeling the pinch. Leveraging what you already have with affordable additions might just be the perfect symphony for your ears and your wallet. So, to wrap things up, I'm a strong believer in using what you have or what you can afford and making the absolute best of it. I will never ever be a snob about the audio hobby because we all started somewhere, and depending on budget constraints, we must make the best of whatever situation we are in. Amazing sound quality isn't a luxury for the rich. It's not just for them. I want to shatter the myth that achieving beautiful sound requires us to take out a second mortgage on our homes. Not the case. Will never be the case. If you're interested in having me build a system for under $500 and show you how it's done, then drop me a comment below, and if there is enough interest, I will do my best to provide that video in the coming weeks. I'm also interested in looking into reviewing some new gear, so if there's anything out there that's new or interesting and want me to review it, I encourage you to contact the company, send them a request to have me take a look at that specific product. I'm always up for trying new things. If you enjoyed the video and got something from it, then I encourage you to absolutely defeat the like button in epic fashion.
You never had me. You never had your car.
Subscribe to the channel and ring the bell to get notified every time a new video is born. With all that said and done, I will see you on the next one, friends. Take care.